What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. And actually, I wanted to do a quick little comparison between the Samsung Galaxy S10 and the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. Now, ever since that Note 10 release, I was kind of underwhelmed. I was like, you know what, they could have done better. And then I started looking back at the S10 and S10 Plus, and I realized how great phones these both are. They're both amazing phones. I love them so much. And to be honest, I feel like more people are probably going to pick these phones up rather than the Note line, which is kind of sad because the Note 9, the Note 8, even the Note 5, like those are some really good devices at that time. The Note 5 was a little weird, but the Note 8, a tremendous device, the Note 9, tremendous device. But I feel like with this line, I feel like more people are going to start picking up the S10 and the S10 Plus over the Note 10s, and I kind of wanted to see what the differences were between these. And honestly, if I was in your case and you didn't know which one you wanted to get, an S10 or S10 Plus, I kind of want to break down those, I guess, criteria for you to determine which one you should get. Now, these are all my opinion, obviously, but kind of looking around both bodies, really, the S10 Plus is in every single way a bigger version of the Samsung Galaxy S10. When I felt them, they felt exactly the same. When you look at them, like they're almost exactly the same devices. It's just that the S10 Plus is bigger overall than the S10. But here's the interesting thing. The S10 Plus isn't like crazy bigger than the S10. It's definitely a noticeably bigger device, but on the Galaxy S10, you have a 6.1-inch dynamic AMOLED display. That one is 1440p. On the S10 Plus, you also have a dynamic AMOLED display that is also 1440p, but it is 6.4 inches. So it's just, a little bit bigger. And because of that, it is, like I said, bigger in the hand, but it isn't that much bigger. I think it is overall smaller than the iPhone XS Max. And it definitely is a little bit more narrow. So when you're holding it in your hand, you don't feel like you have like a gigantic device. You feel like you have, a decent device. It's definitely bigger, but it's not like a huge device at all. They both have IP68 dust and waterproofness up to 1.5 meters for up to 30 minutes. So that's a really cool thing. And I'll definitely tell you, in terms of the way they've held up so far, they've both gotten security updates. Both the screens on my units, they did not have any screen burn-in or anything, which is really nice. I'm really happy about that. So that is a really cool thing, especially when you're looking at it, I guess, a couple months down the line. You don't want a device that just is so faulty and has problems. Now that they've both been out for a while, you can tell they're both not bad devices at all. They're both holding up very well. In terms of software, they both have the same software. They're both probably going to get the same software as well. They're going to get a couple more versions of Android on their Samsung One UI. So in reality, you're going to be set on both of them. It's not like one has a huge advantage over the other. In terms of performance though, it's the same exact case. They both have the exact same chipsets, the Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 chipsets. They both have octa-core CPUs. They both have Adreno 640 GPUs, but here's the interesting thing. Depending on the variant you get, the S10 Plus will have either 8 gigs of RAM or 12 gigs of RAM, where the S10 only has 8, which is still a lot. 8 gigs of RAM is still a ton for a device. But you do have that advantage with the S10 Plus if you get the 1TB version, where you do have the 12 gig of RAM option. So in terms of performance, in terms of everything, they're both going to be almost identical. They are both extremely fast devices, some of the fastest devices I've ever owned. But the S10 Plus will have the advantage by having that 12 gig option. But again, if you get the stock base models on both of them, they're going to be almost identical. Now, I have seen cases where people say that the S10 Plus is slower a little bit than the Galaxy S10, but I don't think that's the case. I think they're almost like the same. Sometimes one might be faster than the other, but that can probably be like based off the software update, or if there's like something up with that device for that time being when you're opening that app. Like there's so many different things that go on when you're doing a speed comparison. Now, I did do a speed comparison here, but I don't know where that file went. I could not find that video, so I'm so salty about it. But I can tell you, they kind of sum up that whole entire speed comparison. They're both almost identical. Like maybe one is a little bit faster one app, but the other one will be faster than the other, so it's like not that big of a difference. They both have micro SD card slots, which is so sick. I love that so much. The Note 10, the base model, does not have an SD card slot, so that's why I think a lot of people are going to probably pick up the S10 and S10 Plus. In terms of the camera sensors, I definitely do think there is not that big of a difference at all. They both can shoot 4K videos. There's 3 camera sensors on the back. 2 are 12 megapixel sensors. The third one on both are 16 megapixel sensor. That's an ultra wide sensor. And what I'll definitely tell you is like, yeah, maybe the S10 Plus might be better, but not by much. Like they're literally almost exactly the same camera. The biggest difference would probably be on the front though, with the S10 Plus having the extra 8 megapixel sensor as opposed to the only 10 megapixel sensor on both devices. The S10 only has one. The Galaxy S10 Plus has that 10 megapixel and 8 megapixel sensor, and they're both wide angle lenses, which is really cool. And I definitely do think maybe there's a little bit of difference in the S10 Plus. Maybe it does have the advantage, but ultimately, like I stated before, I think they're both very good sensors. I don't think one is like way better than the other, but the S10 Plus might have the advantage because of that extra sensor on the front. Now, interestingly enough, when these phones came out, I guess a lot of people were hyping up both devices. They were saying, oh my God, these are amazing, especially in terms of the battery life and the reverse wireless charging. But here's the interesting thing. After so many months this thing has been released, I think it's been probably 3-4 months, whatever it's been. I think the battery life on both of these devices is still an amazing feature, and I think ever since the Galaxy S8 or Galaxy S9, Samsung was really focusing on the battery health of your device and making sure it doesn't just crazily go down too much and it doesn't depreciate a lot over time. Now, the S10 does have a 3400 mAh battery. The S10 Plus has a 4100 mAh battery. And what I can definitely tell you is both devices are very good in terms of battery life. But I will say the S10 Plus does have a little bit more of an advantage because, like I said, it does have the bigger battery size. And because they both have the same specs primarily inside, they're both going to last you pretty much exactly the same time if they wear the same battery. But the fact that the S10 Plus, even though it has a bigger screen, it does compensate that for the bigger battery. And I'll definitely tell you the S10 Plus is better in terms of battery life. And because we're only 4 or 5 months down the line of these two release, even if you get them used, the batteries probably didn't depreciate too much. So you'll be set in terms of, the new battery size, and this battery size, it's not going to depreciate that much. The S10 though, I've had tremendous battery life with this thing. Even the standby time is amazing. So I'll definitely tell you, you can't really go wrong with either of these batteries, but the S10 Plus probably does have the advantage. Now, the last thing I want to hit on, is pretty much they have the same exact features. They're both almost exactly the same. However, the resale value for these things has gone down quite a bit since its release. And I think that's probably the biggest difference now and why it's so important looking at these phones now than when they were just released, because they're almost exactly the same device. But when you look at the resale value for these and you look at the used market, they're selling for half the price than what they came out. So for the Galaxy S10, I've seen these things go for around $500, sometimes less. But I'll give it a price of let's say $500. I've seen the Galaxy S10 Pluses go for about $550, a little bit less than $600. So in my opinion, I will definitely tell you the Galaxy S10 Plus is a far better device overall than the Galaxy S10, but it's not by much. It's basically the bigger screen, the amount of RAM that you can upgrade to, and also the battery life. I like a bigger phone, but there's really not any crazy features that the S10 Plus has that the Galaxy S10 does not have. So if you're in the middle, I would probably tell you, just go, play it safe, get the Galaxy S10. It is a smaller device, and you'll probably end up liking that more if you're used to smaller phones. But if you like bigger phones, go for the Galaxy S10 Plus. They're really not that much more expensive. But the one thing I would recommend you to do is do not buy them brand new. Okay, you can get them brand new if you want to. I'm not your dad or anything, but I would recommend you buy them used. Go on eBay, go on Amazon. I'll leave them linked down in the description if you want to pick them certified refurbished. They're a little bit more expensive than on eBay. They're usually in better quality, so I'd really recommend that. Plus, you can help support the channel at the same time. But between both of them, you can't go wrong. They are both super strong phones, and I love them so much. If you guys have any questions or anything, leave it down in the comment section below. Hit that like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it'll mean so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel, all those links are linked down below. I'd really appreciate if you guys could check it out. But more importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.